kiddies! Welcome to Kidsy Tales. Hope all my kids are happy and healthy today. And now smiling because it's story time. I've got a very interesting story for you today. And the story is named Superior Sickness. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful forest, and in that forest, there were many animals. But for our story here today, we have four main animals, and they are Zebi, our zebra, Effie, our elephant, Bulo, our buffalo, and Hippo, our hippopotamus. All the animals lived in harmony, except for Effie and Bulo. They never liked each other. Why? Because each of them felt they were the superior animals and the strongest of all the animals. One day, Effie had a good bath, and while he was returning, he saw Bulo sleeping there. He could not tolerate him sleeping so peacefully. What did he do? He sprayed water all over him and just walked away. Bulo got very angry. He stood up, he shook himself and said, I will take revenge on you someday. But what Effie did not notice was that poor Hippo was also sleeping and he got all drenched. On another day, Bulu was coming out for a walk and he noticed that Effie was sleeping and he thought now was the chance to take revenge. And what did he do? He snorted so loudly in his ears. And he walked away. Effie got angry and stood up and said, I will not spare you. But what Bulu did not notice was that poor Zibi was also sleeping and she also got disturbed by this noise that Bulu made. So Zebi and Hippo thought that these animals are fighting, but it causes disturbance to all the animals in the forest. So they thought we should come up with a plan to solve this as soon as possible. One day, a giant potato fell from the sky in the forest. All the animals were scared to go near it. They went around it, but no one dared to touch it. After a lot of discussion, they came to a conclusion that it was a giant potato. But still, they were scared to eat it or even touch it. That is when Effie and Bulu thought, this is our chance to prove the forest who is the strongest and the smartest. So what did they do? All the animals moved aside to watch the show. Effie went and gave it a push. But what happened? It did not move. So Buller laughed and he said, now look at me. And he went ahead and gave it a push. But still nothing happened. Now Effie laughed. And what happened? Both of them started pushing it, piercing it, and fighting over it. They stamped it, and finally the giant potato was smashed and crumbled into small pieces. All the other animals were happy and excited, but not Effie and Bulu. Why? They were still staring at each other. The fight was not over yet. They started fighting and fighting and fighting. Bulu went and gave Effie tissue. And Effie came back and said, here you have it. And they started fighting. What they did not notice was that all the other animals went, grabbed their piece of potato and started moving away. Hippo also had his share. He took a potato for himself and moved away. And slowly all the animals grabbed their pieces of potatoes and went away. But these two were still fighting, and finally they fell bleeding profoundly on the ground. And what did the other animals do? Zebi and Hippo came along and said, oh, come on, we have still not decided who is the smartest and the strongest. Come on, wake up, they bullied and they went away. Poor Effie and Bulu were severely injured. They could not even get up. That is when they realized that feeling superior and trying to prove it was a mistake. So, what is the moral of the story? Trying to prove yourself superior will end up in proving yourself silly and not smart. We'll meet you again in another story time. Until then, bye bye.